I'm Caprial and this is John.
Hi, welcome to our kitchen.
Today we're going to focus on a technique that is important every time you go to make dinner.
The knife is an extension of the chef's hand.
That is so true, and knowing how to use it properly is really essential.
One might even say cutting edge.
Oh, John, don't even start. Now, listen, you need to know how to pick the proper tool for the job, and certainly knowing what knife to use when makes it so much more pleasurable to cook dinner.
Well, we're going to show everyone how to use different types of knives, teach them how to do basic cuts, and offer some tips for keeping your knives sharp.
And what we show everybody here today will help increase their skills as a home chef and just make cooking so much more pleasurable.
So let's get started.
All right, let's get to work. We're going to make an appetizer that is a recipe we've been making for a long time.
10, 15 years.
Not that long.
5 years.
Oh, yeah, 5 years sounds better. We're going to start with doing an aioli, and an aioli is like a fancy mayonnaise is basically what it is, and this aioli is so good you could drink it. Don't you think?
I don't know if I'm going to drink mayonnaise. And then we're going to take salmon and cook it in the oven for just 1 minute.
That's right.
We're not going to tell you how yet.
All right, let's start making aioli. And it really, the reason why I say you could drink this sauce is because it's so good.
It's very good.
Yeah. So the nice thing about the aioli is if you're having a dinner party, you could make it today and serve it a week from now.
Right, it lasts a while. And with this aioli, after we show you to make this basic aioli, you can make all different types of aiolis. You can make an herb aioli. You could put a little orange concentrate in here, make an orange aioli.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah. Okay, an egg yolk. That's essential. A little bit of garlic.
Always have to have garlic. I kid people, if you come to our restaurant and you don't like garlic, you can have dessert.
You're in a little bit of trouble. So then we have ginger and garlic, and then this is a little pinch of chili flakes. And like always, you can adjust that to whoever you're having for dinner, or if you have friends that really don't like spicy stuff, you can adjust that.
And then we're going to put in some chopped lemongrass.
So lemongrass, if you're not familiar with lemongrass, it grows like this. It's a stalk, and it's rather tough and woody. And for the most part, you would never just sort of put it in here.
Not like that.
No.
You have to chop it up really, really fine.
And you want to peel it down a little bit. Like we took this peel out, one of the peels off here, and you get this nice, more tender part of the center.
Much easier to chop.
Yeah, and then you want to cut it really, really small so that it doesn't taste fibrous at all. All right, so we've got the lemongrass in. If you can't find lemongrass, please do not worry about it. Go get some more fresh lemon, add a little zest to it, or you can add some lime to it.
I'll do this one.
So we're squeezing in some lemon, and I just catch the seeds in my hand because I'm too lazy to find the sieve.
Excuse me.
All right, so we're gonna start getting that moving. All right, I just have my hand over here so I don't splatter all over the place, and John's gonna start to drizzle in vegetable oil. Because we're doing this Asian in theme, we want to use a vegetable oil that's a little more neutral.
Definitely. You don't want to use an olive oil.
No, olive oil is too strong.
And you can do this in a bowl too. Just drizzle in the oil very slowly while someone else whisks.
It's just easy with the lemongrass and all of the ingredients in here. It's just really nice to have a food processor for this.
There we go.
All right. All right, so, ooh, that looks perfect.
It's perfect. A little
lid's
salt.
A little bit of salt, and we'll pop it back on, and then we'll give it a taste.
A little pepper.
This lid is very tight. How about a little soy, too? Hold on. A little bit of soy. Not too much soy, then it just tastes just soy.
Okay.
Hold on.
It's done. It's ready to go.
Hold on. Mr. Impatient.
More salt.
More salt. A little more soy.
I'm going to go get the salmon.
A little more chili flakes, you know. Kind of adjust it. If you want to make it even hotter, go ahead and add a little chili sauce into it.
Look at that salmon. Isn't that pretty?
You got the salmon here. Let me get this out of the way.
Okay.
You know what? Before you start your salmon, can I have a spatula so I can get this out of here?
Spatula. Here's the spatula here.
Thank you.
Look at this salmon. Isn't that beautiful? Nice red, very pink.
Oh, here, wait, let me help you with that. Hold on. Here. Scoochie. I got that.
There we go. Put this on right here. And I'm going to wash my hands real quick again.
So the salmon, we have it on a separate board just so you don't have to worry about changing that big board out.
So what I'm going to do is cut the salmon really, really thin. First, I'm going to sharpen my knife with the steel. Just a couple easy strokes.
Now, make sure and tell people that, you know.
How to do it?
No, but people think that they can sharpen their knife,
This won't sharpen your knife. This will just put the edge back on. If your knives are dull, you need to take them to get sharpened professionally.
Yes, and you need to take them to a cutlery place, too.
Now, I like to remove this little piece right here. Some people like this. This is fine. But in a restaurant, you got to clean it up a little bit more. The skin's on, as you can see, and I'm just going to cut a little piece off, like so, and then I'm going to start cutting it really thin. The pin bones are already out. You got a plate for me, dear?
Yeah.
And then I just cut it just like so, nice and thin. This is how we can cook it for 1 minute.
So what I did is I took a plate and I put butter on it. It's very important to use a plate that can go in the oven. Not grandma's china or anything special. Use something that is okay to go in the oven. And then I take the salmon and I'm just pressing it all the way out to the edge.
See how it's very important to have a nice sharp knife so we can cut right
You
through
know,
this salmon.
You could go just a hair thinner.
You just kind of go like that.
But the nice thing about this appetizer is everybody can be seated at the table and then you pop the salmon in and boom, it's done. All right.
Is that enough?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. I'm going to put this back in the refrigerator.
Okay. Do not I know you're not going to believe this, but do not season the salmon up because it's so flat and it's so small on there that if you put salt on there, that's all you taste. Can you put that in the oven?
Let's go in the oven.
I have butter all over my hands.
All right, we're going to open this oven up. We're going to put this in a really hot oven, 450 degrees, and it should take just about 1 minute.
So it may take a little longer than 1 minute, but it'll just depend on the thickness of your salmon. So we'll just kind of check that salmon now.
Let's check. Oh, it's perfect.
Careful.
There's one.
Oh, look at that. Beautiful. I don't want to touch it. It's hot.
There's two.
Can you put, Johnny, can you put those on the base plates? So we're putting these on base plates because when you take these to your guests at the table, you do not want them to touch these plates.
Oh.
They're very hot. So we're going to take our aioli that we made earlier, and we're just going to drizzle a little bit on top.
That looks nice. And it took 1 minute.
And then you want to put the garnish on. That's a little bit of gari, or it's pickled ginger, which is really wonderful. You want to make sure that you get the light colored one, not that dark one. A little green, and we're set to go.
There we go.
Voila. Beautiful appetizer in 1 minute. Show you a little pepper relish with some pan-fried oysters, and John's going to demonstrate a mince, a dice, and
a chop.
Okay.
Something like that.
Something like that. That's
so,
good.
The most important thing to have is a nice, sharp chef's knife, and this one is super sharp. It makes cooking so much more fun. So first, we're going to take a red onion, then you can use a white onion, and what I do is I cut off the top, like so, and I leave the root right there, cut it right in half.
Why don't you show them how to do a dice on that one and a julienne on that one?
That's what I was going to do.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, I didn't tell you. So, peel off the skin like this. And once we get that peeled off, we're going to dice this one.
Here, I'll peel off the skin on that one.
Thank you. So what I do is I cut along the grain of the onion, but I don't cut all the way through. So watch. And I follow the knuckles of my finger, just straight down. And I'm not cutting all the way through. See, the onion still is intact. And I turn it like that, and I just cut straight down. And it makes a nice fine mince, or small dice this is. So there's the dice, and then maybe once or twice through like that. So there is our dice.
Why don't you move it to the side here?
And then we're going to do a julienne.
Bowl?
Which bowl?
That bowl with the onions in it?
This bowl right here?
Yeah.
With the onions in it?
Yeah.
So then now I'm going to julienne, so I'm going to take off the root. Cut it off just like that. Same thing, go along the grain, follow your knuckles.
Wait, you better slow down.
Oh, sorry. And just straight down. Beautiful, beautiful julienne.
It takes lots and lots of practice to be able to go that fast, but one thing that really makes a difference is that John's knife is really sharp. And also, if you're worried about crying with the onions, a sharp knife will make a difference, and if the onions are cold, it'll make a difference.
So now we're going to do some garlic. And all I do is I take a whole head of garlic and just lay right into it like that. And I take about 2 pieces, 2 cloves like that. You're doing such a great job.
I know, I'm like the
cleanup
cleanup person
I like
today.
this is good. And then just give it a little tap, like so. And you've seen me do this in some of the other shows. Peel the garlic. Ooh, that's not a good one.
Do you need another one?
Boop. You want to peel that one for me?
Yep.
And then once we do that, just take it, make sure that the handle is hanging off the side of the cutting board, and just give it a nice whack. So now it's pretty much already done for you, and you just chop that up.
So if you're using the garlic in something that's raw and you want to get it just a little finer mince,
Then
you want
you
to show
just
them how to do that?
put a little salt on there. Take the knife with the blade towards the garlic,
Sorry, I'll move out of the way.
and just mince it like that. And that'll mince it up really nice and small.
So that's when you have something that's raw and you don't want to have that bite of garlic. Can you grab the bowl down below? Alrighty.
And one more.
Show them the pepper. That's a good one.
Here's a nice pepper, just like that. I take it, cut it off, cut it lengthwise like so. And if there's a membrane in there, which this is doing pretty well, sometimes I'll take it and just slice a little bit of it out like that. Lay it down flat in really small pieces.
So then what he's doing is making matchsticks,
A julienne,
a julienne, like we did with the red onion, and then you just go across.
just like that. Nice. See how easy that is?
It is easy.
Go home and practice.
But you also have to, when you're picking out a chef's knife, make sure it feels good in your hand, that it has a real comfortable feel to it, that it has a nice weight to it, and that it really fits for you, because really having a chef's knife is a very personal thing. You have to have the perfect one for you.
And I think this is something this is when you go out and spend the big bucks.
It is where you go out and spend the big bucks. You know, could you do a little bit more pepper for me?
A little bit more?
Just a hair, and I'll start adding some of the other stuff in. So I have a little bit of cumin that's going to go into our little relish. And this relish is great with shrimp also. It's really good on grilled fish. It's really good as a garnish, like in a lighter sort of Asian soup.
And I think if you let this sit for a day, it even gets better.
Yes, I agree. Excuse my reach. A little pinch, just a pinch of cinnamon.
How's that?
Better, thank you. And then lemon zest. Really nice, fine lemon zest. And then the juice is over there. Oh, I can smell that cinnamon. It smells so good. And then I find with peppers, we want a little bit of oil, just a little bit so that it's not too strong. That kind of mellows down the flavors. And then make sure you have enough salt. Salt's really important in this.
A good chef always seasons.
Always seasons and always tastes it. But for this type of thing, I like to let it sit a little bit before I taste it.
Okay.
Okay? You want
Looks
to get your
good.
oysters?
Please. Now,
So we've got some beautiful oysters in here. John's going to shuck these.
Okay, it's nice. I don't like the big, huge oysters. I like a nice small oyster just like that. And what I do is I take the oyster just like this. Real good professionals do it right in their hand. I don't want you to do that. And what I do is I make a little bed right here, and I make a little tiny pillow right there. See, there's the pillow, and I put the little oyster in its bed. Get it? Oyster bed. And then I take the oyster, just like so, and I just take my knife and just back and forth, pop it open, just like that.
So Johnny, tell them about flipping it over too.
So once I pull it out of the shell like this, I take the oyster, cut right underneath it, and flip it over.
So what happens when
Just
you're
like
first
so.
starting to learn how to shuck oysters? That first oyster is going to look really bad. And so if you're going to serve them on the half shell, you want to flip them over so they look nice and plump and they don't look like they've been chewed out of the shell.
Right.
They've actually been opened nicely.
That one broke on me.
It did?
I'm going to the next one. Are you going to heat up some oil there?
I am going to heat up some oil.
Okay, I'm going to finish off this last one. Just cut it like so. We're going to pull that guy out.
Show them how to bread those two.
Okay. So what we're going to do here, move this out of my way. And then we just take them. I have an egg mixture right here, a little bit of flour, and just a little bit of cornmeal. Take it out, drop your oyster in, toss it around. Try to keep one hand in the liquid and one hand in the flour. We'll be having big flour mitts. And you take your oyster just like that. I'm coming over.
Come on over, I have a little spot right there for you.
Drop that guy in just like so.
So what we're doing with the oysters is we're pan frying. So I have quite a bit of oil on the bottom of this pan. I got nice and hot, but not smoking hot. And then you'll see I flip them over and look, they're just nice and crispy brown. You do not want to overcook these. I know John and I go on and on about not overcooking seafood, but it really makes a big difference. Ooh, that's a nice crispy one right there.
There we go. There's our plate.
So once I turn them over and they're really nice and crispy, they only need, depending on the size, especially some of these little guys, about 30 seconds, if that. Oops, that guy does not want to turn over.
Let me grab that one there.
I just turned that one over. You can do
Okay.
these two, right there. So we're going to lay them in the oyster shells that we actually washed, and then they're on a little bit of salt.
How's
That's a
that
good
one?
one. Yeah, this one's good too.
And this guy right here.
Yeah. All right, let's take them over and do a little relish. We're going to take our relish, put just a little
bit on top.
just a little bit on each one, and you'll really, really show off your skills as a chef with this dish. All right, we're going to show you one more little thing, and that is how to make this compound basil butter, and then I'm also going to show you one more tip on how to peel a melon.
So I'm going to add a little basil, a little lemon juice. I have some nice roasted garlic here, and all you have to do is just squeeze it right in there.
Like
Just
toothpaste.
like so. Yeah, toothpaste, just like toothpaste. Let's put one more in there just for fun.
Roasted garlic is nice and, mellow and sweet. You need to wash your hands. I'll put this in while you do that.
Thank you.
This is a little bit of lemon zest to give it a nice little bit of tang. We're going to serve this basil butter with salmon, which is going to be really nice with that lemon in there. Little couple shots of Tabasco to give it some spice.
Salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper. You want to taste this again afterwards too. Then we're just going to run
Turn
it
it
till
on.
it's nice and smooth. You may have to stop it and scrape it down like John's
Scrape
doing.
down a little bit, just like so. Turn it back on.
The great thing about this basil butter is we're going to put it in a piping bag and pipe it right on top of the salmon, but you can pipe it on a sheet pan and freeze it and then pull it out and lay it right on top of the salmon. It's really beautiful. So while you're putting that in the piping bag, I'm going to show my melon trick.
All right.
Now, everybody thinks of this as a tip or a trick, but it's just the way we do things at the restaurant. So it's just an easy way to peel melon for breakfast or a brunch. I take the end of it off so that you have a nice stable surface. The biggest thing about working with a knife is keeping a stable surface. And then you just work your knife down and around. So I'm using a nice long slicing knife so I can go all the way around the melon. And all you have to do is, if you have any edges that are a little bit green, you just come back later and trim those off.
That's a nice melon.
It's beautiful.
Okay.
It smells good too. You gonna get our salmon?
Let's get our
I'm
salmon. I have
almost
some
done.
salmon roasted in the oven for the basil butter.
One more little piece here. And then at this point, oops, it's slipping away from me. You can cut the other end off and then split it in half. Sorry, you need room, don't you? And
That's
then you take
okay.
the seeds out. All right, hold on here.
Got a plate for me?
Yeah.
We'll take out our salmon here. Put that on the plate.
So normally I pipe this butter out and then I chill it in the refrigerator or the freezer. And then when
Thank you.
the salmon comes out of the oven or hot off the grill, then you put the cold pipe butter on top of it. But since we're not really going to go and wait for it to sit in the refrigerator or the freezer for a long time, we're going to pipe it right on top. So I'm just going to do a nice little rosette right on top of the salmon. What you want it to do is, as it's going to the table, you want your butter just to kind of start melting a little bit and drizzling down the side of the salmon.
Perfect that way.
All right.
Let's go.
All right, I think we deserve a glass of wine now.
I'm ready
don't
for
we?
a glass of wine.
Now
This is a great meal we have here.
It is a good meal. We've got lots of seafood today. We did our oysters with a fine little relish. You learned how to mince the garlic, chop the onion, julienne the onion, lots of stuff in that one.
And chop a pepper.
And chop a pepper. Now, you'll see when you watch that, John goes really, really fast.
I don't expect you all to go that fast.
No,
Maybe
no.
if you go to cooking school for 2 years, maybe.
And work in the industry for 20 years.
Oh boy.
You might be able to go that fast. But, you know, it does take practice. Be really patient with yourself and make sure you have a really good knife when you do that, because that'll make it so much easier.
And we have the 1 minute salmon, which we sliced really thin, and it actually took 1 minute to cook.
That's
And we
right.
put the beautiful aioli over the top of that. It's lovely.
Super easy.
And then we have the salmon here.
With the basil butter, which is really simple. You can throw it on pork chops or pork tenderloin, other fish. You know, you name it, it works really great. Even just on a muffin or, you know, a biscuit.
On a blueberry muffin?
No, not blueberry, like a biscuit
Oh,
with
okay.
dinner. So then with this, we have lots of fish going and lots of different kind of flavors and spicy level. So I really like this Roussillon here, which is a really nice white, has a little bit of kind of fruit in the beginning.
A nice Sauvignon Blanc. We had a little bit of this last night with dinner, and it was so good.
Sauvignon Blanc is nice because it has that kind of grapefruit to it. Well, I think we did a great job
It's
today.
nice. Cheers.
Cheers.